Hello again, this is Dr. Jimmy. Today is still August 11th, Thursday. Bob the cat is still sitting over on her day bed, apparently sleeping, but probably plotting evil. I'm still wearing the shirt with all the evil kittens. And this is another reaction video to some new announcements about Halloween Horror Nights that have come quite recently. Now, actually, I intended this to be included on another video, which I'm not going to post until after I post this one. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I was going to incorporate announcements about Hollywood and announcements about Japan in one video, starting with Japan and then going on to Hollywood. However, I took too long. Imagine that. And so the Japan video will be posted after this one. If you figured all that out, you're better than I am. This video, then, is all about the big reveal that occurred Sunday, August 7th, earlier this week. A reveal not for Orlando, and not for Japan either, but for Hollywood. Yes, because they have Universal Studios Hollywood, which is located in Burbank, not Hollywood, where Halloween Horror Nights actually first began, nearly 30 years ago. In fact, on Halloween night this year, it'll be the 30th anniversary of Horror Nights, because on that first Halloween of 1986, the first Horror Nights was held at Universal Studios. Not even called Universal Studios Hollywood yet, because back then there was only one. It was just Universal Studios in California. So that's where it all began, really. But still have a bit of a cough, sorry. But they have Horror Nights there, off and on over the decades. And recently they've had it going on a consistent basis since 2006. So this is the 10th year in a row they're having Horror Nights. Goody. The first time they managed to do 10 years in a row. Because they had it once in 86, once in 92. Then they had it from 1997 till 2000. And then they didn't start it up again till 2006. So they've had it consistent since then. There you go. So add it up. I think it's 16. Altogether. Now let's get back to it then. They've announced several mazes, but they had a big announcement on the 7th. The Purge election year. A motion picture that was released earlier this summer on the 4th of July weekend. And an IP that a lot of us thought would be at Horror Nights this year. It just seemed natural. After all, they had a Purge zone a couple of years ago, the Purge house last year. They did Purge over in Hollywood a couple of times already. Why not a Purge house this year, a Purge maze this year? Well, they hadn't really planned to do it indoors. They planned to do it outdoors. And they have, in fact, is what John Murdy has described as an ultra scare zone. Yes, in his Carney Barker way of hyping it up. Roll out, step up one and all, come and see the ultra scare zone. Much bigger than a little ordinary scare zone. Oh, your ladies are like that, wouldn't you? Big ones, yeah, a big purge for everybody. Because it's the Purge erection year. Oh, sorry. Election year, that's right. Purge election year, based on that film that came out on the 4th of July weekend. The third film in the Purge franchise, which is a Universal property and thus quite a natural IP. I must confess I haven't actually seen the third one yet. In fact, I haven't seen Anarchy yet. I'm behind, I'm sorry. I saw the first Purge though. I get the whole idea. The new founding fathers, you know, they take over the country and they decide to start a purge, basically getting rid of all the undesirable people, you know, minorities and anybody that, you know, poor people, people that might cause trouble for their regime. Yeah, because when they have everyone gets to kill and murder and rape one night, well, obviously most of the people who get killed are going to be those people because Did you say those people? It's exactly, that's right. That's exactly where they're getting at. Because the rich people, they get to barricade themselves in fancy security apartments with all kinds of armored doors and guards and shit, and so they don't have to worry about getting purged very often. Although sometimes it happens, as we saw in the movies. That's part of the whole plot of it. This is about a crusading young senator, woman, sort of like Hillary Clinton. I think there's a deliberate attempt there. Of course, movie makers are often a bit left of centre, and nothing wrong with that if you ask me, but you know, you might be right of centre. A lot of people on the right, though, look at Donald Trump and say, holy fuck, what have we done? So, you know, you have to think about that. There's always Jerry Johnson. There's always Gary Johnson. Think about that. Like Penn Jillette said, you know, I'll feel your burn when you feel my Johnson. How many dick jokes can Dr. Jimmy throw in one video? That was like 5 now already? At least a couple. But getting back to it, in fact, Donald Trump is just a sort to be one of the new founding fathers starting the Purge. They made a joke about that. Keep America great. That's almost like, you know, before it was Make America Great Again. Now it's Keep America Great after it's already been, you know, after he's taken over and had the Purge. That seems almost, and you know, think about Muslims, Mexicans. Those are just the sort of people the Purge wipes out. Seems to be a distinct political allegory here. Now, even if you're not into political allegory and your politics are totally removed from that, and it might even offend you, at the same time you can still enjoy the movie, and a pure action, adventure, horror movie, you know, blood and gore, fun, violence, because, you know, you like that too, right? You know. So, that is one way of doing it, even if you don't buy what the political subtext might be, right? So anyway, the Purge election year, we thought it might come to both parks, but it's only going to Hollywood, and it's going to be the ultra zone. It's going to encompass the upper lot, the lower lot, and any other lots they might have at all. It's going to be all over the streets, not just one scare zone, but various zones from the movies that fit in with different parts of an anarchy and election year, and characters you might see. And Murdy has said even some new ideas, some original Purge characters are made up by themselves. Murdy likes to do that. He likes to take the movie and then go off on his own tangent. He's doing that with Halloween, Freddy vs. Jason, and Texas Chainsaw this year on the houses. So he'll do that with Purge a bit too, and make up some of his own Purges. Why not? And if they're really cool and nifty, the people make the Purge movies might say, hey, damn, that's a good character. Let's put him in the next movie. Let's put him in part 4. You never know. It could happen. It could happen. Oh, I'm petting the cat. She came over. She was on the bed. Now she's on the desk. She's like right there. And she demands pettings. And if I don't keep petting her, she's going to bite me. It's Purge Kitten, ready to attack. Yes. Because as far as she's concerned, all laws were suspended at all times, except for her laws, because cat rules everything. That's her opinion. And she will bite and claw if I don't pet her nicely at all times. Dominating cat. Alright, getting back to the Purge election year scare zone. Now, I understand there's some characters in this movie. I haven't seen it, but I understand there's a bunch of girls who are quite naughty and rambunctious in the street, purging people, wearing masks and carrying chainsaws. A sort of girl chainsaw drill team already made for Horror Nights, and they're going to be there. Except I've heard rumors, and these may not be true because sometimes rumors are just bullshit, but occasionally there's some truth behind them. But I've heard, and especially one from all the other side of the country, but I've heard rumors that the people being cast to play those very characters are dudes. So he might be a trans-saw drill team this year. I just copyrighted that. Just like I copyrighted Drac to the Future for a scare zone in Orlando. We'll talk about in a different video. Yeah, so Trans-saw drill team. That's something I made up, and it's now copyright Dr. Jimmy. You can use it though. Just don't pretend you made it up yourself. Now, if that even happens, and I don't know for a fact that's going to happen, but my friends in California seem to think it's going to happen, so that seems fun. Murdy, of course, he's carny. And you never know what's going on in that mind of his. He says one thing, he might be thinking something else. Because I've heard about the terror tram, and I don't think that rumour is true at all, because it goes completely against something Murdy has said, and I can't repeat it, because it could not be a complete bullshit, and I'm not going to repeat a rumour that may not be true. But if it is true about the terror tram this year, and the entity that Murdy is working with to create this original terror tram, it's going to shock the hell out of a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to drop their jaws and be, that's happening this year? Huh, I thought that could never happen. If it's true. I don't know if it's true. So I'm not even saying what it is. That's as much as I can say. I can't dare say any more. Carney. But, getting back to the Purge election, yeah. It sounds like an awful lot of fun, high energy, mad, park-wide scare zone everywhere, but nothing to do with terror tram. That's an original idea, and nothing to do with the haunted mazes, all of which but one have been revealed, I believe. The last one, it seems to be a shared intellectual property with the only unrevealed house now in Orlando. Probably the same intellectual property. There are rumors about that as well. We'll find out soon, whatever that means, but probably not too long, because it's only 36 days to Horror Nights. Soon. And when you deal with intellectual properties, you have a lot of different people you have to deal with, and sometimes they put restrictions on what you can say and when you can say it. Correct? So I understand why that hasn't been announced yet. Although if you looked at a certain billboard that was seen on the streets for just a minute, but someone got a video on Instagram when they drove by, just happened by an amazing, oh dare I say this, chance to have driven by in Orlando the other day, you might know what that other property is, because it was on the billboard right there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, An Exorcist, and Walking Dead. The fourth one up in the other corner was... Right, so that was that. All I can say is I think people are going to go gaga over it when it's revealed. But Purge election year, as I said, rumours, talking about rumours, there's been a rumour buzzing around Orlando for a while that scare zone they're getting in Hollywood, a smaller version was planned in Orlando. Not the whole park, but just one area of the park, like New York Street, for example. Just off the top of my head, suggesting that area, possibly. Might have been a Purge election year scare zone as well. But rumour has it, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, it's not substantiated or anything, but, you know, these things are buzzing about the internet, and people say that, and they say they know, and I don't know if they know, but it could be, and I can see how it could be definitely possible. So it could be that originally they were planning a Purge election year scare zone for Orlando, but, you know, it's just been tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 12th. And so, on the early morning hours of the 12th of June this year, that was so almost exactly 2 months ago, we had a terrible tragedy in Orlando when a madman shot up a nightclub filled with young people and slaughtered 49 good people in that nightclub and wounded many others and affected many of our lives. Very few of us don't know somebody who was affected by this directly. I myself had a brief encounter at Islands of Adventure when I was on a ride, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and got stuck on the ride, and a young man helped me that day. The ride attendant, his name is Luis. He was one of the victims who was killed that day. So there's a connection there. And some of my friends knew him quite well. So it's like, you know, it's amazing how close connections you can have, especially in this small community. So because of that, and because the Purge features, in addition to chainsaws and machetes and other things, it features a lot of people with firearms running about the streets shooting and killing people, it was considered that it might be at best in very poor taste, inappropriate, at worst downright offensive and insensitive to have this at Horror Nights this year. you know, too soon, right? Especially when not only the people in the park, guests, might have been affected by this tragedy, but even worse, there are people who worked at Universal who were killed, like Luis. Therefore, no, it's too close to home. They just didn't feel like they wanted to do it. And so that's the rumor. It may not be true at all, but I could understand absolutely why they would jettison the Purge from Orlando and only do it in Hollywood this year. Makes sense. Most of the IPs have been shared. Freddy vs. Jason, the only one that's not in both parks, but was here in Orlando just last year. So there's a shared IP thing going on now that's stronger than it's ever been before. It's logical to assume they were planning Purge in both parks, and it's perfectly rational, understandable why it was only done in Hollywood, where there's distance, you know, other side of the country, doesn't quite affect them the way it did here. And I believe that theory is probably correct. And what's in the New York Street area, which I'll get to in a different video when I do the announcements that were revealed yesterday in another video, that one we will find out. I can easily see how Purge election year could be changed into one of the scare zones that were announced yesterday. I could easily see how it could be easily done, and that might be exactly what happened. Don't know it for a fact, but it seems like a logical story. So it may be true, but then again it might just be fabrication or imagination or a wild guess that turns out to be a little bit off the mark. We don't know, you never do, because these things usually are not ever explained publicly. Oh, so be that as it may, for Hollywood now, we've got all but one maze announced. We have all the streets announced. There's still show content, whatever that might be this year. And I've heard some rumors about that which shocked me, but I don't know if they're true. If they are, wow. And the Terror Tram, and I think that's it. The shows and the Terror Tram is all that's really left, and one house. One maze left for Hollywood. So we'll find out what that is soon. Of course, I hope all you people in Hollywood enjoy it. I can't get over there. Wish I could. Can't. So have yourself a wonderful Halloween in Hollywood. Well, in Orlando, we're going to have an amazing Halloween. Have you seen our website and what we're doing over here? Ooh, man. Yeah, you hear about what happened yesterday, all the original content we're getting? Not to make you jealous or anything, but I'm not disappointed I'm only having Orlando, because if I had to miss all of them, except one, yeah, Orlando's the one I want to be at. Although I'd really like to see Singapore, because those are amazing there too. So Orlando, Singapore, then Hollywood, and Japan in that order. Although Japan's got Harry Potter this year, that should be incredible. Anyway, that's enough though. I'm about done. This is the end of this video. Next one I'm going to do, probably before the day is over, we'll cover all the exciting new announcements for Orlando that were revealed yesterday. Till then, stay scary.